Hi there and welcome to Gaining Vision. I'm Melanie. Today I want to ask you some questions, guys. I'm really confused. But before we get there, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like, and share. So what I want to ask you is, what is with politicians? You know, we're all, not all of us, but most of us are very fortunate to have the right to vote, to elect our officials that help lead our countries, our province, our cities. But the people that I've noticed around the world that we're electing, I'm really confused. Are we as voters not being educated properly? Are we not considering the important facts? I don't know about you, but what I think about somebody that I want to be in charge of my country, my city, I want them to have my best interest at heart. I want them to stand for what I stand for. Okay, let's face it, not everybody is going to agree with everything that somebody has to say, but the bare minimum, I want them to be educated, not just school smart. You know, yes, it'd be nice to know that they have a university degree behind them, but life smart, having experience with life, bringing something to the table, being educated on the policies, the procedures, and the issues that they're facing in their country, in their city, or their province. I find the people we're electing may say the things that some people want to hear. They may put on a pretty face, but when they get down to actually talking about what they're going to do to change things that are wrong in our world, they don't have straight answers. They talk around the subject. They make pretty things. They make statements that are vague, and they also don't get to the reality of it. So for me, there are areas that I think are really important. Education, healthcare, and of course, in my situation, disability concepts. What are they going to do to help our children in education? What are they going to do for those less fortunate? Those with disabilities that perhaps can't work? What are they going to do about our healthcare to ensure that we're all safe and that we have the healthcare that we deserve? Those are things that are important to me. Now for others, it could be about infrastructure, it could be about the dollar and about saving our deficit, things like that. But everybody has something that they're looking for in a leader. What I don't get is when we elect these individuals, for whatever reason we bring, for me, I would hope we're making educated decisions, we're listening to what their policies are going to be, what their platforms are, and what they stand for. But the media and any sort of political race brings out all the dirt on people from 30 years ago. And I'm saying nobody's perfect, guys. We all have a past. And as politicians, I guess they know that's going to come up when they're running for office. But actions speak louder than words. And I find politicians have all the pretty words to say, but do their actions follow the words? So when they say that they're going to do things, what is their track record like? Have they shown that in their past experiences, whether in the corporate world, in the legal field, as a teacher, whatever their background is? Did they actually prove what they stand for? Have they shown that they have the leadership skills that it takes to run a country? Let's face facts. In the world, there are a lot of leaders in power right now. It's questionable how they got there. And the fact that they're there and the things they're doing, I literally sit there and shake my head. How can they say these things? How can they tweet these things? How can they do any of this stuff? Because it doesn't represent the people that they serve. In most countries, provinces, cities, it's diverse. There's so many different people, and there's people of varying ages, backgrounds, and abilities. They have to serve all of us, so they have to be educated and understand what it's like living in those communities. They need to get out and talk to people, find out what the issues that real people every day are facing, and they need to have a plan to address these issues. Otherwise, they do not deserve to be in power. They do not deserve to have our votes. So that's fine to say, but let's face it, there's going to be a lot of elections coming up in the coming years. We need to really look deep at ourselves as voters and what's important to us. What changes do you want to see in the world? There's so many, and every day when you go to the news, no matter what country you're in, we have to look at the reality. What's actually happening? Right now with the COVID-19, our lives are upside down. World is not the way it was even 3 months ago. Things are changed. So we need to have a leader, somebody in charge that is willing to change with the way society is changing. We have to have a leader that's going to listen to our concerns, our fears, our dreams, our hopes, and listen to what plans they're going to put in place for all of us, not just one group of people, but everybody. So as voters, what is important to you? And how can we ensure that the people that deserve to be in power are elected? The whole election process is in question based on what's happening in the States. But it happens all around the world, guys. Let's face facts, okay? There's misinformation campaigns, there's mudslinging, there's corruption, there's so much happening that people are getting into power that really don't have the tools to equip them to be there, to help us live in a society that represents what we want. Our values, our morals, our future are in their hands. And how can we allow one person in power to change all that? We can't. We have to speak up. We have to make sure our votes count, and we need to get involved. We need to educate ourselves. We need to let our voices be heard and talk about what's important and question those people that are running for office. If there's things we're unsure of, if they're not answering the important straight questions, dig deep, get them into it, get them talking about it. And if you're not happy with the answers they're providing, don't vote for them. The scariest thing is there's so many places in the world that are suffering because of leadership. Whether it's a kingdom country, whether it's a monarchy, whether it's a democracy. We hear horror stories every single day because our politicians are not standing up for what's important for their communities, for the people that elected them. I'm not saying being a leader is an easy role, because that's not true, because I wouldn't want all the pressures from everybody, having to represent everybody in our whole community, country, or city. But the reality is, those that choose to be in politics have a responsibility to all the constituents, to the people in their communities, for the people that they serve. And unless you are willing to listen and do something to help each and every one of them, don't get into politics. So for those of you watching who are going to be voting this year, next year, whatever, think hard about the facts, not about all the crap we hear on social media, not about all the stuff we hear in the media, because let's face it, there's always a bias. But get to the facts. Listen actively to what their answers are in debates, in news briefings, and in their world outside of politics. What do they represent? What do they stand for? What good have they done for the world? What good have they done for the community? And does it suit what you're looking for in your world? Because without it, we're going to be stuck with people that aren't listening, that are not helping us change in a positive direction. And the reality is, guys, we make those choices. So if we elect them, we have to live with them. So choose wisely. And if you have any feedback for me on why people are electing the people they're electing, please share, because it's such a frustrating subject. Until next time, subscribe to my channel, like, share, and see you next time on another really important topic.